college football, we're a few weeks in, and I kind of want to give y'all what I've been seeing thus far from what I've watched. And so I'm going to give you some prospects that I have on the rise and some that I have on the decline. I'm also going to give you a little look, just a little look, into the 2022 NFL draft class. So without further ado, what's crack-a-lackin'? I'm your boy Broshmo. Just in case you did not know, so go ahead, become a bro and subscribe. Leave a thumbs up if you enjoy the video. It's always much appreciated, much obliged. I love giving you all draft content. We will have a mock draft out after week 4. So whenever the Steelers and Titans decide to have their game, I'll get y'all a mock draft out based on, of course, my current rankings. I've added some people. I've moved some guys around. So that ought to be fun, especially. And I'm probably going to just do it off maybe the power rankings or the current. Well, it's kind of hard to do it off the current draft order, but I'll take a look into it. But either way, I'm excited for that. So let's go ahead and let's dive in. Warning, spoiler alert as well. With the SEC kicking off this past weekend, there's a lot of SEC guys on there. So yeah. Speaking of that, LSU's JABRIL Cox is one of my hot risers, dude. This guy, the most important thing for him was to look like he belonged in a Power 5 conference, let alone the SEC, because the guy has been an all-star. He's been a stud at North Dakota State, and you know what? He looked very good, very impressive. He was very solid versus the run with 4 defensive stops. He was pretty decent in coverage as well, picking up interception, but he was constantly targeted at. And keep in mind, they were facing Mississippi State, and he stayed on the field. They threw the ball 60 times. He was on there, and he was in coverage for 52 of those snaps. So I like to see that he was battle tested that much. I thought he did it very well, and he's definitely a guy that is kind of flirting with that first round if he keeps up a performance like that. But my biggest riser, and this is no particular order, these are just guys that caught my eye. Dude, Kyle Pitts, man. If there were to be a number one, it'd be Kyle Pitts on this list. Like, he was amazing. You can't tell me the NFL ain't drooling after that 4 touchdown performance. The guy's separation's ridiculous. He's basically like a big receiver, and I liked what I saw in terms of his blocking. He could be a better run blocker, but he's a pretty darn good pass blocker. And I'm throwing this out there. I'm pitching. Maybe you catching this. I'm getting Travis Kelce vibes from this guy. Like, I'm not laying out any comps, but I'm getting Kelce vibes from Kyle Pitts. Like, I said it earlier this year, I think he could be a top 15, top 10 prospect. He's one of the best tight end prospects. Tight end, I use that loosely. Prospects we've seen in forever. He's just amazing, and that Ole Miss game was just wow. And then Kylan Hill, dude, out of Mississippi State, the running back. He was on my overhyped list if you saw that yesterday. But he looked very good, and there was a good reason he was on my overhyped list going into the season. But straight up, the best thing that could have happened to him was Mike Leach coming in to coach at Mississippi State. Leach's offense really spreads the offense like across the line. It makes running lanes wider. Granted, he only ran the ball, I think, about 7 times, but it really gives him easy choices in the run game. That was one of my biggest things with him, was he was very indecisive and had really bad running back vision. But the most impressive thing coming from this weekend was his ability as a pass catcher, and that will elevate his stock. He went out, he attacked the football at the point of attack, or at the catch point, I should say. He had 8 receptions on 10 targets for 158 yards. He had a touchdown. He had 3 missed tackles, or forced missed tackles on receptions. I have no problem. Like, he is a great athlete. I just didn't think he did running back things very well, but I love seeing this. You could say KJ Costello. He's not on this list, but he had a very, very good week. But there were instances where the decision you could see, like, my biggest gripe with him was, oh man, his decision making could be a little bit better. And there were a few bad decisions in that LSU game, but for the most part, he looked very impressive. Next here, I got Rondarius Williams, which is a guy I didn't really even know about till this past weekend. He's put out a banger thus far this year. He's only allowed 1 reception on 7 targets for 0 yards. He has 5 pass breakups. And yeah, dude, this is a guy, I went back and I started watching a little bit of him because he's actually been a starter since his freshman season. There we go. He's got 41 starts to his name. And the guy that I was actually high on in that Oklahoma State secondary was Christian Holmes. And Williams has gone out and outplayed Christian Holmes, which I find very impressive. He's been an above average he's been an above average starter for the honestly the past 3 seasons. He's a decent athlete, but I mean, with that immense experience, looking like it's all coming together, this is a guy that really I think is going to help his stock throughout the year, and someone you should keep your eye on. And speaking of the secondary, we got Paris Ford. A lot of people, they came at me like, how can you have Paris Ford so low on your list? I was like, he only started 1 year at safety, and he was okay, but it wasn't anything special. He looks a lot more comfortable this season now as in his second year at safety. It looks like he finally, like I said, he just looks comfortable. He could still be a bit too aggressive at times, but it hasn't cost him yet this season. He's only allowed 19 yards in coverage, and he has 2 interceptions. His tackling seems to be a lot better. He's wrapping up, because the thing was, this guy, he goes for the hit stick, but he doesn't have the size to deliver an effective hit stick. So he's wrapping up real well. He only has 1 missed tackle on 13 attempts. He has 8 defensive stops against the run, because this is a guy I think you could definitely maybe put in the slot. So I like seeing that. On to the next one, and that's Aaron Banks, the guard out of Notre Dame. And he's actually eligible for the 2022 draft too. So honestly, might not even come out. But he is allowed, he's the only lineman on that Notre Dame offensive line that has allowed no pressures. That should be impressive, because that's a really good offensive line for Notre Dame. I think it just says a lot. Notre Dame might have the best offensive line in college football, and I know BYU fans are like, hold up, but hey, y'all's is really good too. But thing with him, his mobility, not great, but then again, you don't have to be the best athlete on the interior for the offensive line. But his technique thus far, from what I've seen, is extremely sound, and he is definitely, and I know this interior class, it might be tough to get drafted highly in this interior class because it's a very good offensive interior class. So maybe he might look to 2022, but I think he's capable of getting up in the 2nd and 3rd round. And then Kyle Trask, you should have known he was going to be on the list. This guy, he came out, had the game he was supposed to have, had the game he needed to have, and he just murdered Ole Miss. His decision making, for the most part, it looked very good. He showed off his arm, which was the biggest thing. I felt a lot of the times, granted, last year it was his first year as a starter, but he did a lot of checkdowns. I was like, dude, just let it rip, man. You got the arm talent. Let it rip. A lot of people are making this Josh Allen comp, which kind of, I don't want to say frustrates me, but I question it, like, because Trask has no mobility to speak of. He is going to stick in the pocket, but it looks like he's a lot more comfortable right now in the pocket. We'll see as SEC play continues, but for the most part, Trask, after Purdy kind of crapped the bed in his first 2 games and Jamie Newman is opting out, you're going to see teams looking for who could be that late 1st round quarterback. Trask might tip his hat into that, man. I'm just saying. Also, a guy I didn't include on this list, Zachary Carter. He got up from like, I think it was like 265 to 290. He's playing on the interior. He was very impressive against Ole Miss. He had 7 pressures on 34 pass rush and snaps. He was one of my dark horses if you checked out any of my past ranking videos. Elijah Moore, the slot receiver out of Ole Miss, man. Primarily, the guy operates in the slot. He showed great speed and after the catch ability. He had 10 catches, went for 224 yards, 4 broken tackles off those catches. Absolutely murdered Marco Wilson, who you may see later on this list. Not this one, but another list he shouldn't be on. But the guy, he's kind of locked into being a slot corner, 5'9", 185. Again, he's primarily played in the slot, so he hasn't really had true reps against press. But honestly, he could end up being one of the premier slot receivers in this draft. And then another, we're just going to close out the list with SEC guys. Ali Gay out of LSU. The guy's a JUCO transfer. He's 6'6", 262, I believe. And he had a monster game, 12 pressures and a sack against Mississippi State. Mississippi State's offensive line actually looked pretty woof. But nonetheless, 12 pressures, still pretty impressive. But he wasn't winning with athleticism or speed. I think he lacks explosiveness and really any bend around the edge. But the guy's got legit play strength and he's got great length. He put on multiple just impressive bull rushes. I liked his hand usage and hand placement, and definitely a guy to keep your eye on for the remainder of the year. And then I finished the list with Roger McCreary out of Auburn. He had limited time in 2019. He was playing behind Noah Igbinoghene. 6'1", he's 188. Pretty skinny frame, but the guy's got legit athleticism and great, I guess, prowess, instincts at the corner position. He only allowed 8 yards in coverage this past week, and he had a 100+ yard pick 6, which, I mean, that'll catch the eye of anybody. But yeah, a guy I love. He's got a very limited sample size right now, but definitely a guy to keep your eye on throughout the rest of the season. Another guy didn't include on this list was it AJ Blades from Miami? Just someone I still need to look more into, but he's having a pretty good year thus far from a grading perspective. So a guy that I haven't checked out personally myself, but I will look into it, and he is a hot name as well in this corner class that's kind of looking for guys to really, like, after you got your big four with Patrick Surtain, Sean Wade, Caleb Fairley, and Asante Samuel, but they're looking. There's really no one established as that fifth guy yet, so it'll be interesting to see who elevates. So let's go to prospects that are falling, and they're falling fast. And yes, we start with Brock Purdy. The season has not looked good. I mean, these are back-to-back subpar performances from Purdy. He looks nothing like the guy we've seen the last 2 seasons. He hasn't been as accurate on throws, but the thing is his decision-making's been really bad to start the season, and that's nothing like the guy we've seen in the past. He is eligible for the 2022 draft if he decides not to come out this year. And if the rest of the season kind of looks like his first 2 games, he probably won't. Let's go ahead and just get all the Florida State guys out of the way right now. And we're going to start with my boy Tamarian Terry. Actually, let's just talk about Mike Norvell. He's got this youth movement going on at Florida State where a lot of the the older guys, the veterans on the team, the juniors and seniors, they're not seeing nearly a lot of snaps. Like, I mean, I think Marvin Wilson only has 80 snaps through 2 games. Like, what? That guy's like your best player. Why isn't he seeing more snaps? But Tamarian Terry really has had a rough go. He had a bad drop against Georgia Tech, and he got banged up and hurt in that game. And then the Miami game, man, oh my gosh, he only played 14 snaps, and during the second half, it was like the beginning of the third quarter. He got in a scuffle with some Miami players, goes to silent. Essentially, he gets benched. He's mouthing off to the wide receiver coach for the for Florida State, and I could only assume it might be a frustration either over playing time, maybe what happened on the field, but. Modern Terry, man, I just don't think anything about this season is going to really elevate his stock, unfortunately, which is a shame because I still believe this guy's got first-round potential. We're just not going to be able to see it. Josiah Kando, the dude's seen 18 snaps all this season. My biggest knock on him was we haven't seen him have a ton of snaps in the season. He ain't seeing them. And speaking of which, Corey Durden, he's only seen 60 snaps, and they haven't been great. Like, he's flashed a little bit in the past as a pass rusher, but he has been terrible as a run defender. So, yeah, it's not been a great showing for the Florida State prospects. But let's talk about Kellen Mond, who looks like the same old Kellen Mond. I talked about this in my rankings earlier this offseason, where it just seems like he's kind of plateaued in terms of development. He's just kind of the same player we've seen year after year. And you know what? He looked against Vandy. Against Vandy. Like, really, dude? He was pretty inaccurate on passes of 10 yards or more. Like, honestly, a lot of his yards came on dump offs. Like, I don't know, man. It's hard to really buy into this guy. He's got arm talent, but you question his decision making. You question his accuracy. Doesn't really do much for him, Doesn't really help him out. And then Marco Wilson, a guy I don't get. Some people are pretty high on, man, but another guy that's looked like the same player like since stepping foot on campus, just like Kellen Mond. He allowed 6 receptions for 116 yards. He played primarily in the slot. If you remember last year, he essentially got moved to the slot because he played so poorly on the outside. He had 3 missed tackles. Guess what? Elijah Moore, he ate that boy up. The guy still got poor technique. He doesn't wrap up. I mean, he was just put in a blender by Elijah Moore this past weekend. Again, man, he's a late round prospect at this point. And then we have Charleston Rambo, a guy that Todd McShay is very high on. He had him in his first round, in his first mock draft. His latest 2021 mock draft. I don't see what he sees in Rambo. Like, I'm not saying he's a bad prospect, but he looks like a poor man's Devontae Smith. But he's not good at the things Smith is good at. I mean, Rambo's got a skinny frame, but he's not good at the contested catch like Smith is. He's not really tested against release like Smith is. There's really no after the catch ability when it comes to Rambo except for vertically. I don't see it. I could be wrong about this guy. Everyone has their good takes and their bad takes, but I don't get what people turn on when they turn on the tape, what they see. Like, I don't get what's impressive. And then I have Spencer Sanders. He's only on the list because he's hurt. A lot of people have been asking about, where is he in your rankings? I wanted to see more of him this year, but he's been hurt. He has I think it was a high ankle sprain, some sort of ankle injury. He got he got hurt in the Tulsa game, and he only had 2 possessions in his second game, which actually he ended up fumbling the ball before he left the game because of the ankle. So, yeah, man, Sanders can't really tell you much if he's going to be hurt, I can't really say more than that. The guy that can't really can't really do anything about his stock, unfortunately. And then Jamar Watson, the edge rusher out of Kentucky, a guy that I said was undersized and he didn't do a lot of things well. A guy that you expect him to be better in coverage. Guy that had pretty solid stats, but you gotta watch out where, like, if those sack numbers don't align with the pressures, then you got a problem, you know. You gotta understand that. But the guy's sub 250, lacks power, lacks explosiveness. You almost think, yeah, this guy's probably an off the ball type of guy. But yeah, dude, he didn't even get, like I said, not explosive. Didn't even get close to the quarterback on 15 pass rushing snaps for Kentucky. And then I got Israel Mugwamu out of South Carolina. He played bad in the opener. Jace Horn honestly looks like the much better corner, the much better prospect at this point. Mugwamu, he allowed 4 receptions for 101 yards. People, they love the size, they love the length, but problem is, man, he could stand to be a little more better at press at that size. Like, he lets receivers get off the line too easily, and if that happens, he doesn't really have the speed, the catch-up speed to get back. I mean, if you want to look at one positive from this weekend, he was a sure tackler. He had 2 tackles, no missed tackles. But a guy, he had a roller coaster of season the previous year, so yeah. But let's talk about 2022, man. Let's take a quick little look. I only got 5 guys, because, you know, I don't want this video to be too long. But let's take a look at Spencer Rattler. There we go. Out of Oklahoma. Again, didn't have the best game this past weekend against Kansas State. He had a handful of bad throws. But keep in mind, this is his second start. You know, this guy's he's not going to be in the draft till 2022. The things that I liked seeing in the first 2 games, he displayed that arm talent. He's got a great arm. Now, he has time to develop better decision making, but I really liked what I saw. Definitely a guy that could be a first rounder next year. And then Bo Nix, he came out, he looked more accurate than he did last season, but that doesn't say much. There were still a handful of just badly placed balls. Unfortunately, that doesn't help Seth Williams. I could see why that guy, he's got just like a bevy of just highlight reel catches. Now we know he has the cannon and to make any type of throw. He's got great athletic ability. I talked about it earlier, where I don't get why people are making the Josh Allen comp with Kyle Trask. I could definitely see it for Bo Nix, except for he's like a more inaccurate Josh Allen, which is terrifying. But I thought he looked a little bit better this week. We'll see throughout the course of the season. He had 2 fumbles, 2 really bad fumbles. So let me gotta point those out. Kyle Hamilton out of Notre Dame, the dude's just gonna be a star. I'm not gonna put him on like this. He's not gonna be in this Back to the Future segment. By the way, I couldn't think of a good name for this segment. So if you got a better one, let me know. But we're going back to 2022. I don't know. PFF's got they got like a fake ID segment. Ugh, that's such a great name. And I got Back to the Future. All right, Mario, let's do this. But Kyle Hamilton, he's not going to be on this list for the rest of the season. Like, everyone knows the prospect he is. He's phenomenal. If he could come out this year, he'd be the top safety, and this is a very good safety class. He's that good. He's probably one of the best safety prospects we've seen since like a Derwin James. This guy could be a top 10 to 15 type of player. He's just a stud. Then I got his teammate Tommy Tremble out of I said his teammate, so you know he's out of Notre Dame. But very interesting prospect, a guy that I think definitely may have late first round potential. He's probably going to be the first tight end off the board in the 2022 draft. He's by far one of the best run blockers out there. He has this block, not this week, this past week they got their game postponed, but the week before against South Florida, he latches onto this linebacker and he just pushes him back for what feels like 10 to 20 yards. But disgusting. But He also has some solid receiving skills. He's not a great separator, but he has very solid hands. He already has a bevy of contested catches on the season. Again, I could see him being the late first rounder. I honestly, I get the Pat Freiermuth vibe from him, but I think he could end up being a better prospect. But I like Pat Freiermuth too. Then I got Brendan Cox out of Florida. Put on a banger this past weekend. He is only 250, so guy that I wait patiently to see if he can get more weight. But he had 5 pressures on 30 pass rushing snaps, 4 defensive stops. He bends the edge well. Not an incredibly great athlete, but he's a good enough athlete. Solid power and length though. Guy that really caught my eye. Granted, that Ole Miss offensive line, I don't know if it was Florida State's defensive line's that good or Ole Miss's offensive line's that bad. Gotta wait and see. But I really liked what I saw from Cox. But that's it for the video. That's all I got for you. Let me know what guys I didn't include. I think I did a good job of listing a few. But yeah, I guess do the YouTube thing. And until next time, you be easy, my friends. Later.